He didn't just snap, he crossed a line he can't walk back from. Landman, season 2, episode 5, doesn't ease into chaos. It throws us into it and then watches calmly as Tommy spirals. And honestly, this episode feels like the moment where everyone finally realizes that Tommy Norris is done playing mediator, done swallowing rage, and done pretending he can save everyone without destroying himself in the process. Because whatever balance he was barely holding on to, yeah, it's gone now. Let's start with the obvious tension sitting in the room the entire episode. Cammy Miller and the deal that never should have happened, but absolutely had to. At this point, Cammy isn't just a major character anymore. She is the engine driving this whole season forward. And episode 5 proves she's not slowing down for grief, guilt, or warnings from people who care about her. She's in survival mode. Full stop. The offshore investment is slipping through her fingers. Every safe option has already collapsed, and the clock is screaming louder by the minute. So when Galino becomes the only door still open, she walks straight through it, even knowing what's waiting on the other side. And Tommy knows exactly how bad this is. He doesn't hint, he doesn't sugarcoat, he flat out tells her Galino is dangerous. Not morally gray, not complicated, dangerous. Period. But Cammy doesn't flinch, because when you're drowning, you don't argue about the rope, even if it's tied to a snake. That's the raw truth of her mindset. This deal isn't about greed or ambition anymore. It's about keeping her late husband's legacy alive, keeping the company breathing, keeping herself from watching everything she built collapse in public. Galino isn't a choice. He's the last card left in a rigged game. So, of course, Galino agrees, but only if Tommy is personally involved. Because Galino doesn't just want a deal, he wants leverage, he wants history. He wants Tommy pulled right back into a world he barely survived the first time. And you can feel it the second Tommy walks into that meeting. The air is heavier, the smiles are sharper. Nothing about it feels like business, no matter how hard Cammy wants it to be. Then the conversation shifts. Galino brings up Tommy's son, and just like that, everything tightens. You can almost hear the invisible line snap. What starts as veiled commentary turns pointed, then threatening, then personal. And suddenly, Tommy's hand moves toward his gun. Not dramatically, not impulsively, but like muscle memory kicking in when his back hits a wall. Because this isn't just about a deal anymore. This is about family, about loss, about a man who's already buried his mother, barely holding himself together, being pushed one step too far by someone who knows exactly where to press. And here's the thing no one wants to say out loud. Tommy isn't wrong for reacting the way he does. He's exhausted. He's grieving. He's furious. And for once, he's done pretending he can absorb everyone else's damage without breaking. The show makes it painfully clear. This isn't a power move. This is a man running on fumes, protecting the last pieces of his life with teeth clenched and hands shaking. Meanwhile, the cracks at home are getting wider. Cooper may think he's finally finding his footing, especially with Ariana, but Tommy sees right through it. He tells his son the truth. Not gently, not cruelly, just honestly. Cooper wants to prove he's capable so badly that he's sprinting toward consequences he doesn't understand yet. And the tragedy is, Tommy knows exactly how that story ends, because he's lived it. And hanging over all of this is the emotional fallout from episode 4. The funeral, the memories, the truth about Tommy's childhood finally dragged into the light. That bathtub story didn't just explain his past, it rewired how everyone sees him. His kids see him differently now. The family dynamic has shifted, and when Tommy brings his father home, it feels like a quiet attempt at healing, even as the signs of TL's decline become impossible to ignore. The slower movements, the fading eyesight, the moments that don't quite add up. It's like the show is whispering a warning we don't want to hear. Because episode 5 isn't just about deals and threats, it's about pressure. And pressure doesn't disappear, it explodes. So the real question is this. After that meeting, after that moment with Galino, after everything Tommy has already lost, What happens when a man who's barely holding on finally lets go? And that's where episode 5 gets quietly terrifying because Tommy doesn't explode right away. He does something worse. He goes cold, the kind of calm that only shows up after someone has mentally crossed a line they never planned to cross. You can feel it in the way he moves afterward, slower, heavier, like he's already accepted that something ugly is coming and there's no stopping it now. Cammy sees it too, even if she doesn't fully acknowledge it. She keeps insisting this is just business, just numbers, just survival. But the truth is, she's asking Tommy to stand between her and Galino, knowing exactly what that costs him. And maybe that's the most heartbreaking part of all this. Cammy isn't heartless. She's desperate. She's exhausted. She's been strong for so long that weakness feels like a luxury she can't afford. So she pushes forward, even if it means dragging Tommy back into the fire with her. And Galino, he knows he's won something the moment Tommy stays in the room. Every smile from him feels like a threat. Every casual comment feels calculated. He doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't need to. Power like his doesn't shout. It waits. And that makes Tommy's restraint feel less like control and more like a ticking clock. Because you don't pull a man like Tommy back into your orbit unless you're planning to use him. Back at home, the emotional consequences of Tommy finally opening up don't just fade away. They linger. His children are quieter around him, more careful. Not distant, just aware. They've seen behind the curtain now. They know their father isn't just tough and unbreakable. He's wounded. And that realization changes everything. Tommy, for the first time, seems unsure of who he's supposed to be in his own house. The protector? The truth teller? The man who keeps absorbing pain so no one else has to? Then there's TL. Bringing his father home felt like a step toward healing, but episode 5 makes it painfully clear that healing doesn't mean fixing. It means facing what's already breaking. The small moments are the loudest ones. The hesitation before a step, the way his eyes struggle to focus, the silence when words don't come fast enough. Tommy notices all of it. He just doesn't say it out loud yet, because saying it would make it real. And he's already buried one parent this season. He might not survive burying another. Meanwhile, Cooper's storyline is quietly mirroring Tommy's past in ways that feel almost cruel. He wants independence. He wants respect. He wants to prove he's not a liability. And every move he makes screams impatience. Tommy sees the recklessness, the hunger, the need to be seen. And it scares him more than Cooper realizes. Because this isn't just fatherly concern. It's recognition. It's watching history circle back around and wondering if you're powerless to stop it. And here's the thing that makes episode 5 hit so hard. No one is fully wrong. Not Cammy, not Tommy, not even Cooper. They're all reacting to loss in the only ways they know how. Cammy runs forward. Cooper reaches outward. And Tommy? Tommy carries everything inward until there's no space left. By the end of the episode, nothing has technically blown up yet. No bodies, no arrests, no irreversible headlines. And that's exactly why it's so unsettling. Because the show isn't screaming at us. It's whispering. It's telling us that the damage is already done, even if we haven't seen the full fallout yet. Galino has his hooks back in. Cammy is betting everything on a deal that could poison her future. Cooper is stepping closer to consequences he can't imagine. TL is fading. And Tommy is standing in the middle of it all, holding too many breaking pieces with hands that are already bleeding. So now we have to ask the question the show is clearly building toward. When the pressure finally snaps, when Galino pushes 1 inch too far, when family loyalty collides with survival, who is Tommy willing to lose to finally be free?